council please come to order? And will the clerk please call the roll?
Anderson?
Present.
Oliver?
Here.
Ward?
Here.
Hager-Smith?
Here.
Mattingly?
Here.
Sutphin?
Here.
Watson?
Present.
We will begin this evening with the Pledge of Allegiance. Will the Vice Mayor please lead us?
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God.
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So we will head into the consent agenda, but we'll start with a statement by our Vice Mayor, Michael Sutphin, on a couple of items that we'll vote on.
The Virginia State and Local Government Conflict of Interests Act requires that I make disclosure to be recorded in town records in any case in which I am forbidden to participate. Therefore, I make the following disclosure. The transaction involved is Resolutions 8B25 and 8C25, which are the waivers for utility availability fees. My personal interest is as follows. My personal interest, employment in community housing partners, which would benefit if Resolutions 8B25 and 8C25 are approved. CHP controls the New River Home Trust, which will receive housing units in the Habitat for Humanity development, and CHP is building New Strubles Ridge affordable housing development. The resolutions will waive the utility available fees for these developments. CHP is located at 448 Depot Street, Christiansburg, Virginia. I affirmatively state that I will not vote or in any manner act on behalf of the Town Council regarding these resolutions.
Thank you. We will begin then with the consent agenda. Are you making the motion to withdraw the two, or what? Are you just going to not? You're just going to abstain?
I don't think we have to do it. We'll have two separate motions, right?
Just you make a motion to pull B and C off the consent agenda and vote on them separately.
Okay. Okay. I will enumerate the items in the consent agenda. The first is item A, Town Council minutes, approval of June 24, July 1, and July 8. Resolution 8A25, a resolution adopting the New River Valley Hazard Mitigation Plan, a 2025 update. Our action there will be to approve it. Do I have a motion to withdraw the next two?
So moved. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Do we have to vote on that? Okay.
Call the roll.
Okay. Oliver?
Aye.
Ward?
Aye.
Hager-Smith?
Aye.
Mattingly?
Aye.
Sutphin?
Aye, and this is the motion to just remove them. Okay.
Yeah, we get it.
Watson?
Aye.
Anderson?
Aye.
Okay. Moving onward, Resolution 8D25 stating the Blacksburg Town Council's position on campaign finance reform at the state and national level. Also, item F, Ordinance 2092, to amend the fiscal year 2025-26 operating budget to appropriate general fund balance to the traffic signal controllers project. Our action there will be to schedule that for a public hearing on September 9. Ordinance 2093, to amend the fiscal year 2025-26 operating budget to accept and appropriate $55,000 of Virginia Department of Criminal Justice Services grant funds to the general fund. We'll schedule that public hearing for September 9. And a CUP 25-1, conditional use permit request for an outdoor educational and recreational camp at 2190 Merrimack Road. Our action there will be to reschedule a public hearing for September 9. What is council's pleasure on the modified consent agenda?
I move that we approve the modified consent agenda without items C and D on the list.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Ward?
Aye.
Hager-Smith?
Aye.
Mattingly?
Aye.
Sutphin?
Aye.
Watson?
Aye.
Anderson?
Aye.
Oliver?
Aye.
Okay, now we'll take up items C and D separately. And C is a resolution 8B25, authorizing the waiver of water and sewer availability fees in support of the Strubles Ridge affordable housing development. And the second item is Resolution 8C25, authorizing the waiver of water and sewer availability fees in support of the Airport Road Affordable Housing Development. What is council's pleasure to do with items C and D?
I move approval of item C, Resolution 8B25, and item D, Resolution 8C25.
Second.
And we have a second. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Hagersmith,
Aye.
Mattingly,
Aye.
Sutphen,
Abstain.
Watson,
Aye.
Anderson,
Aye.
Oliver,
Aye.
Ford.
Aye.
Tonight, we'll move on to a public hearing, and that is for Ordinance 2078, an ordinance to amend Town Code Sections 16-116, 16-200, 16-203, 204, 207, and 506, and to add a new Section 16-123 to update the Town Procurement Code and incorporate provisions from the Virginia Public Procurement Act. And we start with the staff presentation.
Larry Spencer will have the presentation.
All right, well, here's the ordinance. It's not that big, but it is kind of beautiful. I was subtle there, wasn't it? So I'll tell you about why I think it is. There's some places where we're going to make it easier to stay up to date with the state code, and we're also going to change and I think make simpler how contract changes, how contract approval works, and finally we're going to incorporate some helpful language from the state code. So one of the first things is the amendment to Section 16-116, and it clarifies that the purchasing agent is, it never really stated that the purchasing agent is the person who awards contracts as part of the procurement process, and also can develop procurement procedures that we need, such as small purchase procedures. Under the new ordinance, there'll be website notice provided for these two categories of contracts: construction and professional services contracts over $80,000, and we've learned that that's probably helpful to the business community as well. And it's clear in this new amendment that the manager actually signs all the contracts. The change, it removed the requirement for the council's approval of certain contracts, construction of town buildings, professional services. These all go through a procurement process where there's either a low bid on a construction project or an RFP process where there's been a determination made. So it's not, so the requirement that we currently have about council approval it's not required by the code. And as I said earlier, it may be a little bit inconsistent if there's already been a process that determines who the low bidder is or who the best qualified firm is for an RFP. We're taking out the existing text and incorporating Section 2.24303 of the state code. Some of the provisions in the statute, we've currently laid them all out in the town code, and this change, not every year, but frequently enough that you have to, if we wanted to continue on our current practice, you have to track it and do a yearly amendment process. Sole source, we're just going to use the state code provision. Sole source is when there's really only one source that's practically available. You have to document that. You can't just say it. We'll incorporate by reference provisions for emergency procurements. Once again, it has to be a real emergency. You can't just forget about something and say it's an emergency. You have to have justification and a public posting. This is just a real technical. We had some language in it. There's certain types of sheltered workshops that you can make awards for certain types of services without competition. Really, we're just correcting the name of the state agency that runs some of those programs to just correct that. We're incorporating the state code language into contractual disputes. That's the situation where the contractor feels like they weren't adequately paid, there's a dispute about a change order or things like that. And finally, This is some good news from the state, the General Assembly. A lot of times in IT contracts, particularly big companies that have a lot of leverage, they insist that the contracts say that any litigation has to be conducted in the state of California. It has to be adjudicated under California law, and some other contract provisions that we don't like. And this gives us a little bit of help by saying basically, if you enter into these contracts with Virginia companies, you can't force these down local governments, but you do have to take the affirmative step of putting that language in your ordinance. So that's all I have. Are there any questions?
Okay. Thank you, Larry. At this point, I will invite members of the public to come forward and speak to this ordinance 2078. And there is an opportunity just following this to speak on other topics. But does anyone want to speak on ordinance 2078 at this time? Seeing no one, what is council's pleasure with ordinance 2078?
I move approval of ordinance 2078.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mattingly,
Aye.
Sutphen,
Aye.
Watson,
Aye.
Anderson,
Aye.
Oliver,
Aye.
Ford,
Aye.
Hagersmith.
Aye. Moving on to citizen comments. Please come forward if you are interested to do so and state your name and address. And the little stoplight up here will give you 3 minutes to speak, and the town manager will keep track. Would anybody like to speak on a topic of their choosing? Seeing no one, we'll go on to unfinished business. Nope. How about new business? No new business. We do have council announcements.
I'll start with the last mingle at the market. That's an opportunity to gather at the farmer's market and get an adult beverage of your choice, donated generously by Maroon Door and J.H. Bard's. That's 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock tomorrow evening.
Keeping with the Blacksburg Farmers Market, there are still more Blacksburg Market Square jams, and these happen every Wednesday, 7 to 9 p.m. at the market through, I believe it is September. So again, that's every single Wednesday. You can have fun at the market. I want to also give a shout out to all the volunteers who helped with Steppin' Out, as well as the staff who put it together. Susan and I folded T-shirts like crazy people. Wednesday before Stepping Out, Susan and Michael and I sold T-shirts with many, many other volunteers. You know, they say it takes a village to raise a child, and it sure takes a mega amount of volunteers to make Stepping Out happen. It was great. Even though we had terrible rain on Friday, there were many, many people Saturday, so it was a really well-received event. I also want to remind people that the League of Women Voters, our local League of Women Voters and local NAACP together are having many candidate forums this late summer and early fall. The first one for our Blacksburgians is the mayoral forum, and that will be Thursday, August 21st at 6:30 p.m. The very next week, there will be the Town Council Candidates Forum. So again, that's Thursday, August 28th, also at 6:30 p.m. And both those forums are right here in council chambers. And that's all I've got.
And I know it's not under our jurisdiction, but Montgomery County Public Schools start tomorrow, so be aware of all the school buses and all the kids. Have a lovely night before your first day of school. So, and
Watch your speed. In
watch your
school zones.
speed, the school buses, yeah.
Just have one other announcement. The New River Valley Home Builders Association is having their Touch a Truck NRV event in Uptown Christiansburg this Saturday starting at 10 a.m. It's an opportunity for kids to see the heavy machinery, the trucks, and learn more about the building profession. They'll also have a dunking booth for charity. So if you ever wanted to dunk the Vice Mayor of Blacksburg, it will be there at 12:30. So.
I hope it's a warm day.
Thank you. Any others? No? Okay. If that is the case, we are now adjourned.